Hello everybody, my name is Coolblue and I'm bringing out this video of me playing a board game, and for this one we will be playing through Final Girl for scenario number 4, if I'm not mistaken, for the playthrough. And yeah, we're going to be at Carnival of Blood. So if you did watch my previous video, which was where I fought against the Ghost or the Poltergeist, which is over there. Oh. Sorry. Over there, the Poltergeist. If you watched the previous video, you will note that I fought them on Sacred Groves, which I still have the book out here. But I forgot to read the actual lore, so I will be reading the lore here first, just in case you have come to this video to complain about me not reading the lore. So let me do that. Actually, sorry, I'll do that through the rest of bookkeeping. So bookkeeping-wise, I'm going to read out the lore for the Sacred Groves, and then I'll read out the lore for Carnival of Blood, and then we'll start the playthrough. But other than that, everything's set up kind of the way it's supposed to be set up from before. And yeah, that's it. So we'll zoom in and double check the stuff afterwards. But let me no, okay, fine. We'll zoom in now. So yeah, everything's set up for Carnival of Blood. We got the Terror deck set up here. We got Caroline's items. I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle all these. These are the items that the game told me to have. It told me specific items to put in the game. Caroline's here, and the traps are there. If you've never played on a Carnival of Blood, there are trap cards in the item decks. The trap cards cannot be on the top, and neither can Caroline, and there's one trap per deck, so this is going to be very weird for me to shuffle. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle these items. I'm going to randomly put one on top. So everybody knows it's all kosher here. Then I take these cards, and I take Caroline, and I shuffle Caroline inside of these cards. Very confusing and weird, I know. And then, these are my traps. I'm going to shuffle these best I can. Can only shuffle 3 cards but so well. And then do 1, 2, 3. So this is the first one, second one, third one. And then I'm going to deal 2 cards each one. There. And then we're going to shuffle these the best we can, knowing that the traps are on the bottom right now, and I don't remember where the traps are now. As for this one, so much setup. Okay, that's good enough. And then we will shuffle the last one. So this is me just kind of randomizing, showing that Caroline's been put in randomly. Just an idea that I had just to make sure it keeps it random for both myself and everybody else, and there's no shenanigans going on. Okay, cool. That's all good. That part probably took the longest. Outside of that, we have, of course, returning our pointer and our very esteemed guest, the Palm Island dice box. Palm Island, great board game. 10 out of 10 to recommend. Good solo, good 2-player game. It's also very portable, but also it's a great dice tray. So I'm using it as a dice tray. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. We're going to double check the setup. Then I'm going to read the lore from Sacred Groves, and then I'm going to read the lore from Carnival of Blood, and then start playing. So let's get her zoomed in. Nah, that's good enough. Good enough here. Oh no. All that work. All that work. Okay, so as far as the HUD we have here, the heads-up display, this is for our horror level, the 3 right there. This is how many dice we're rolling. The D12 right there, the 6, that's my time. This is the Terror deck. That's how hard the ghost is punching for. That's how fast the ghost is moving. When the ghost kills somebody, their bloodlust is going to increase. That's their bloodlust level. Not really relevant, but some people like to see it, so I put it there. And then this is our starting locations. Oh, that's my health, of course. And then for here, for starting locations, we have 2, 2, 2, 2, 4, and then me and the ghost. And also, we have the Queens of Horror mod, which is a modification that I have for the game. Basically gives me another source of random statistics. And then we also have tenacity counters, which I'm playing on Nightmare mode, if you're wondering. Links to the explanation for all those can be found in the description of the YouTube video. If you're watching live on Twitch, let me know. I can throw it into the chat. And yeah. Also, we start with these 2 events, which is Clowns Everywhere. So during upkeep phase, victims in the big top and any adjacent spaces panic. If they panic into a space with the enemy, they are killed immediately. And did you follow me here? Place 4 new victims at the big top. One of them is a special victim, who is your plucky younger sibling. When your sibling is in your space, you may spend 2 times to reroll 1 die. If the sibling dies, +2 to the bloodlust, so that's not great. My sibling probably will die. So it says put 4 new victims at the big top. One of them is a special victim, so we're gonna have a total of we're having a party in the big top, man. Along with clowns everywhere? Oof, that's awful. So we got 6 people in the big top. And one of them is my sibling. We'll see if I can rescue that sibling. But I also gotta find Carolyn. This is awful. Also, the special rules for this one are that I have 2 events, which is why I have these 2. The other 2 events are, one of them is the werewolf one, and the other one is people walk towards traps. That one. So those are awful. Also, all 3 traps are in the game, which I'm not looking forward to, but they are there. So yeah, so that's it for that. Let me take a sip of water so I can start, and then I'll start my read-through. For the previous scenario, which was on Sacred Groves, not what we're looking at right now, but I'm just reading it now because I forgot to read in the previous one. So for Sacred Groves, which was only the gods can help her. So I'm going to read through that first, and I'll start now. Upon the realization that the haunt was following Carolyn, after what had happened at Camp Happy Trails, the Johnsons planned a desperate trip to try to get rid of her demons. They had heard of a holy place in Africa that was opened to visitors, or open to visits from tourists. The magic in that Sacred Groves was said to be so strong that you could physically feel it. They honestly felt like there was nothing left to lose besides Carolyn again, and they booked a flight. Had they known what kind of gods that they would be dealing with, they would have never entertained the idea for a second. Upon arrival, the couple took their daughter to the site. It was a long journey that led up to this moment, a moment of total disappointment. The site was in complete disrepair, and there were tourists everywhere desecrating the forsaken place, or desecrating and forsaking the place. A scream in the distance broke out, or a scream in the distance broke them out of their disappointing trance they had been in, and at that moment they noticed Carolyn was gone. Not again. All right, so that's for the previous one. If you want to go check out the previous one, go check out the previous one. I just forgot to read before I started playing. And this one that I'm reading right now is for Carnival Blood, the current scenario. So, this one's called A Johnson's Family Outing, and there's more text. Ugh. All right. While the threat of Carolyn being abducted never fully went away, the Johnsons were getting more comfortable with the risks, especially since, so far at least, she had always been found and returned to them. So they began to get back to being a bit more like a normal family. They went out to eat, took family outings, and more or less got back to being like any other family. But Carolyn's mother couldn't shake the uneasy feeling that she had. So when Carolyn was invited by one of her friends to go to the carnival, Mr. Johnson said no. Carolyn didn't understand and was very upset. She begged daily for permission to go, and after several days, Mr. Johnson finally gave in. Carolyn's friend, Juan, Carolyn's friend, Juan, along with Juan's mom and older sister, Asami, came to pick her up that night, and they had all headed to the carnival. That was the opportunity that the Poltergeist had been waiting for. What better place than the carnival, especially this carnival, to entrap Carolyn's soul once and for all? The first hour passed, and the girls were all having a great time. But then Carolyn noticed something peculiar. Besides her and her friend's family, everyone was dressed as a clown. In that moment, someone or something swept her up, threw her over their shoulder, and ran off into the crowd. She screamed, and she screamed and saw Juan and Asami running after her. But then her abductor ducked into a building, and everything went black. When Carolyn opened her eyes, Helen Creech was inches from her face. She laughed her ghostly laugh, then turned and flew, dissipating from view. Carolyn knew she'd be back. She just hoped Juan and Asami would find her first. Alright, that's the lore for this one. Cool. There's like a ghost thing going on at the carnival, and souls being captured, and sure. Cool. I figure, what's the point of doing the lore and scenario playthrough if I'm not going to read the lore and scenario, so sure. I read the lore to play the scenario. See how it goes. Doing it for the culture. Doing it for the culture. Alright, so starting off, I gotta initialize the Queens of Horror deck, so shuffle this 3 times. Yeah. You know, there's like a 50% chance when you shuffle cards that you actually don't shuffle the cards. Like, you miss. Statistically speaking. It's like some cool math thing, but it's the thing I learned in college at one point. So it's 3 shuffles, 1, 2, 3. 3 cards up top. Cool. No source of random numbers. Tenacity counters are on nightmare mode, and I am recording. Okay, cool. I'm recording. The setup, we've already confirmed that. I got a found footage here. I have a telescoping pole there, and I have a crystal ball where I'm at. Oh, I start on a item spot. That's convenient. Would be nice if I had a search already, but nope, nope. Okay, so this is not good though, because we got a billion people here, and I cannot use that exit. I don't like that at all. Like this is the least ideal thing. The only benefit I have is that because there's so many people here, when the ghost kills anybody there, I can choose who the ghost kills, so I can like kill my sister last, essentially, or sibling last. Well, I guess sister. This scenario said that's my sister one. So I'm kind of tempted to do nothing. No, I can't do nothing because like if I can get at least 4 people rescued, I can reduce the horror level by 2. I can move. I can take a search card. I can do some cool stuff with it. The shortest path I have is 1, 2, 3, and then I would have to probably do a sprint 1, 2, 3, and sprint back. And that's if I'm feeling really lucky. That's like 4 movements, and that's a lot of time lost. I'm not gonna be able to afford it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I do think it's a good idea to try to reduce the horror level, but actually no, take it back. There's 3 traps in here. Never mind. So when traps spawn, traps will kill everybody. Traps will kill everybody in their space. So because of that, I'm going to decide to try my hardest to not be in spaces with people when I'm not moving. So at the end of my turn, basically. So I'm going to try to walk. I'm going to flip my 2 cards, as customary for me with the Queens of Horror deck. So instead of rolling dice, I'm going to flip cards. I will flip 2 cards. That's a shuffle indicator again. That's a queen. So black queen is a 6, a red queen is a 5. So that's 1 success and 1 partial success. 3s and 4s are 3s and 4s. So 1 full success, 1 partial success. Shuffle indicators do not count as cards. They're just, once 2 of those are in my discard, I shuffle. So I can choose to discard 2 cards to make that a success. I think I'll do that. That's worth it. I'm discarding a short rest and weak attack to move 2 spaces. 1, 2. I lose a time for moving per the walk card. So 2 successes gives me moving 2 space and lose 1 time. So that's what we got there. Them's the breaks. Man, I got like all the space. Sorry, I didn't realize I had that much space. I'm gonna shift this over a little bit. Just a little bit. So you can see the cards now. Yay. Alright, not like you couldn't see it before. But, that was the walk. And now I'm going to walk again. And this time I will be able to make it here. I was going to say the question is, should I be greedy and walk here? No, I should not. Because I already know traps might show up. There's a 3 in 10 chance that a trap will show up. Because there's 3 of these cards are traps. So 3 in 10 chance. So I'm going to walk. I'm going to roll 2 dice. Actually, yeah, I'm going to roll 2 dice because I do want this to be successful. I was going to flip cards, but it's a little bit less likely for me to get the cards that I want. Because one of the queens is gone and one of the partials is down, and I only have, what, 2 cards left in my hand anyway? Alright, nice. Question is, do I get rid of my 2 focuses? I think the answer is yes. Alright. So, oh no, I don't need to. Yeah, never mind. I'm not going to. Because I only need to move 1 space. 2 spaces is not going to do me much. So I'm going to lose 1 time. So 1 success, which is the 1 star, 1 partial. The partial is going to be a fail because I'm not making a success. So I'm going to get move 1 space, lose 1 time. So from 5 to 4. And then bloop, drop off these 2 people. Reduce the horror by 2. Thank you. So from 3 to 1. The ghost is likely going to increase the horror. Sorry, the ghost will increase the horror. Well, yeah, the ghost will increase the horror by 1 because the ghost is going to kill a person. That's going to increase the horror by 1. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce it by 2, which puts me into the 1, which gives me 3 dice to roll. And I'm debating if I want to move 1 space or take a search. This is difficult. Moving one space is nice because then I can be halfway towards my goal. Yeah, I'm gonna move one space. Like so. Alright, and I got 4 time left. I got 3 dice to roll. The question is, should I try to take advantage of that 3 dice by reducing the horror by 1? Knowing that the ghost will kill somebody, I guess it's worth it. So, we're gonna... This doesn't feel good. We're gonna roll 3 dice. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna roll 2 dice and flip 1 card. How about that? Just because I can. All right, I'm flipping 1 card. That's a 1. That's not good. Rolling 2 dice. Okay, I can deal with that. That's 1 success. So I lose 1 time. So from 4 to 3. And then I reduce the horror by 1. So we're down to 0. Okay, and I will not push my luck any further. The Queens of Horror deck. So the thing about the Queens of Horror deck is that during my planning phase, I can spend 3 times to get rid of a card from the discard. So I do want 1s and 2s here. Oh, also, I forgot my tenacity counters. My bad. Did I get a 1 or 2 previously? I don't think I did. I've only done 3 rolls. I've done this. Yeah. This is all I had. This is my 1, this is my 2. And playing on Nightmare mode, I can only increment this when I accept a horror roll specifically of 1 or some 1s. So if I roll 3 1s, for instance, and I get to increment this by 3, which is cool but not great. And this is for 2s. If I'm playing on normal mode, then I can do either 1. Well, sorry, this is 1, this is 2, but any dice roll. So panic rolls, which is great for this scenario, or spawning birds, or any rolls can count towards my tenacity counters. And if I'm playing on easy mode, the easiest mode, then any dice roll anywhere can count for either dice. So you can have like a little bit more relaxing of a game, I guess. But it's a little bit wild. Oh, also on easy mode, you can spend 1 time during your planning phase to increase your tenacity, which I feel is kind of broken, but I was like, if people want to play with it, let people play with it, right? Anyway, alright, so I've already done all my stuff? Yes, I have. Correct. I was just double checking the things. Okay. I am going to end my turn there. I got 3 time. I guess I'm taking a sprint and a close call. So I got 1 card left in my hand. I'm taking a close call and a sprint. And the idea is that I'm going to try to rescue these people, because I do need to search soon. But when I rescue these people, I get to take a search card and hopefully a move, and then I'll be able to do stuff. This is going to be chaos. My sister might die because of the panic thing with the clowns everywhere, but we'll see. We shall see what happens. Not too excited about this. So that's it for my turn. All these cards are now liberated. So I can get them next turn, just not right now. Oops. And yeah, so my time resets back to 6. So the sprint I bought was 2, the close call I bought was 1. So that's where that came from. And now the ghost is going to activate. The ghost is going to target the closest victim, which in this case happens to be that same cluster. And the ghost will, on their turn, they're going to target the closest victim or final girl, which there's a tie actually. In the event of a tie, the ghosts or the killers will always go for the victims. And if there's a tie for victims, as in it's possible for them to go here or here to reach victims, they'll go for where the most victims are. So the ghost is going to target the nearest victim, move their movement speed, and then slash. And the movement speed of the ghost is 2, and they're slashing for 1, doesn't really matter, because victims always have 1 health. So even if the ghost was hitting for 5, they would still kill only 1 person. But they're going to move for 2, so 1, 2, and they're going to smack a person politely. So now the bloodlust is on 1. Bloop. I can barely see that. And we increase the horror level by 1, so from 0 to 1. That's great. And now that's happened, we shall see if I have a good path or not. Carolyn, where are you? Nice. I'm glad that card showed up. Carolyn, where are you? If Carolyn is not with you, discard this card and draw the next tarot card. Otherwise, shuffle Carolyn into the item deck of the nearest blah blah blah. Well, I don't have Carolyn, so it doesn't matter. Right. Oh god, where the hell did these blades come from? All right, I'm glad I wasn't on the spot with the with people. So place a spinning blades floor trap token in your space. Immediately apply the trap's effects to you and any victims in your space. And then for each 1 through 4 rolled, increase the horror by 1. So the spinning blades trap, which will go here. The spinning blades trap, which is that one. Oh, my hair's always everywhere. Jeez, it's always making this debut. Yeah, whenever a terror trap card comes into play from the terror deck, place the appropriate trap token in your space. The trap token immediately takes effect on you and all victims in your space. Anytime a victim enters or is in a space with a trap token, they are killed. Whenever you enter or in a space with a trap token, suffer the following effects. Spinning floor blade trap. Roll 2 dice. For each result, do the following. 1 through 4, you take 1 damage. 5 through 6, you may move 1 space. So the best I can do is move 1 space. But that means that I cannot walk my victims back this way. I gotta go the other way. Which thankfully is not as awful as a path, but still, it's kind of bad. And then also because of this effect, for the first time that this happens, for every 1 through 4 that I roll, I increase the horror by 1, which is not convenient. So we're gonna roll. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna flip. No, I'm not gonna flip. I could flip these cards for the Queens of Horror deck for this roll, but I want to try to preserve the queens in here. Like the risk I'm running is I'm burning 6s on accident. Actually, no. Okay, fine. I'll do the Queens of Horror deck for this one. I'm gonna flip 1 card and roll 1. No, I'm gonna flip 2 cards. I'm just gonna flip 2 cards. All right. So that's a damage and a horror increase, and we shuffle. So there's a 4, which according to the trap card is going to be, where'd it go? According to the trap card is going to be I take 1 damage, and according to this is going to increase the horror. And because there's 2 shuffle indicators inside of the discard, I got to shuffle everything anyway, and I got to continue. I'm still committed to flipping that next card. So taking all the cards I took out, that one, shuffling 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Oh gosh, 3. I'll shuffle 1 more time just for good luck. There we go. Then we cut the deck. Sorry, my stack of people flying everywhere. I'm gonna take out top 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, and I gotta flip 1 more. All right, so that's the horror increased by 2. So I went from 0 to 2, which is unfortunate because that puts me back in the yellow. And I take 2 damage. I have no blocks, which is unfortunate. So I take 2 damage from 5 to 3. But hey, nobody died. Nobody died. And I cannot walk victims through that. I can try, but they'll die. Alright, cool. So that's it for the Killers phase. Now we do the upkeep, which everybody here is going to panic anyway. But they're going to panic because the killer killed somebody. So I am going to roll for my sister first. Hopefully she moves. Oh. That's a 1. And a 1 will go... Oh gosh, this is getting messy. A 1, thank goodness, will go that way. And then for everybody else, I will roll. So I need 4 dice roll. Let me move this to the side here. They have a thing for you to deal with that, with overflow. Like you can put like a little token and then put this little thing here and put the people on it. But I don't really use it all that often because it's like, there's rarely a scenario where I need to do that. I guess in this situation I need to do it, but like I'm usually okay with just stacking people because I can see it. Anywho, I'm gonna roll 4 dice. Wow, what are the chances of that? All right, let's look at the statistics on this, y'all. So I rolled 4 dice. The statistics of me getting this, which is 3 fails. The statistics of me getting 3 fails is 30% chance. Or if you want to look at this table alternatively, actually not lied, sorry, 4% chance. Because this is looking at only successes, so if we just substitute that with fails, we can see the statistics of that. So 4% chance that happens, and it happened. So congratulations, dice. Anyway, so there's a 1, 1, 2, and a 4. So that means 2 people go this way, 1, 1, and then 2 goes that way, and then 4 goes that way. All right, cool. Well done. Well done, Ghost. You scared everybody. Oh, So these people need to panic as well. So these 4 here need to panic. And the reason why they need to panic is because of clowns everywhere. So during upkeep phase, victims in the big top and any adjacent spaces panic. If they panic into a space of the enemy, they are immediately killed. Hold on. Yeah, so the victims that were in the big top panicked because of the kill. And... ah, man, they're gonna panic again. Oh, this is so awful. Okay. So, if we're going through here, this is the normal sheet that you'll look at. Oh, we're at 3. This is the normal sheet that you'll look at. And here's the panic phase. So after the killer kills things, if a victim was killed this turn, panic all victims in the killer space, which we did. And now we're doing upkeep. So because the panic phase is here and the upkeep phase is there, that means that the people who just panicked will panic again. Which is part of the whole mechanics of this is silly. Alright, so I'm going to panic my sister first. And okay, cool. Well, this game is going to go great. So my sister panics on 3, so we'll go back this way and die. And when my sibling dies, we increase the bloodlust by 2. So it says +2 bloodlust. It says if the sibling dies, +2 bloodlust. So it says +2 bloodlust. I'm assuming that means we go up 3 because 1 for the death and then +2. That's what it sounds like to me. So we're going from 1 to 4. So 1, 2, 3. And what did I do? So the ghosts got their dark power, which is Eternal Despair. Whenever you resolve a horror roll, lose 1 time for every 1 showing on a die after rolls. That's not good. And then we increase the horror by 2, so from 2 to 4. And then the ghost is now hitting for 2 and moving for 2. All off of 1 sibling death. How rude. How rude. Anyway, so these 2 are going to panic. More death. So this one panics there, thankfully. And this one dies. Bloodlust increase. Ghost is moving faster. Turn 2. Turn 2, by the way. And then this one will panic. 5. They will go that way. And then this one will panic. 6. They will go that way. And then these 4 will panic, which are here in that spot. So I could be using cards for this, you know? Yeah, let me use cards for this. Why am I rolling these dice? I'm like wasting my Queens of Horror deck with these dice. So that's that's why, because I'm wasting my queens now. All right, so it's a 6. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And then that's a shuffle indicator. 2. And next one, a 4. Dies. Increase. And then last one, I'm gonna roll the die for this one because apparently this Queens of Horror deck is not helping me. Of course, that person dies as well. And we increase the horror by 1 more. Look at that. Mechanics. Mechanics. Okay. Well, that was fun. I don't mean that. I was being very sarcastic. In 1 turn, the ghost killed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, but the bloodlust increased 7 times. So that's not good. If you want to see the tracks over here, so yeah. So these are things that happen when the ghost kills people. So they killed the first person, which went there, and then the panic stuff happened, and then my sibling died, which went 1, 2, 3, and then after that, 3 more people died. So 1, 2, 3. So we increased the horror by 4 in that situation, which is how we ended up at 5. So yeah, I'm kind of glad that I reduced the horror by 2. There's also these mechanics. Oh, and that increased the horror by... Did I do that one? I think I did that one. Yeah, I did that one first because it was down to 0. Yeah. Oh, wait. If it was down to 0, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't do the last horror increase. That's what happened. Is that what happened? Hold on. Let me think. Give me a second. So I got the horror down to 0. And after I got it down to 0, the ghost increased it by 4 just now. And yeah, so it should be at 6. Should be at 6 because I got 2 fails, which is why I took 2 damage from this, and that increased the horror by 1 per one, or per one of those. And then the whole double panic nonsense ended up in a lot of deaths. Okay, well, I got a sprint and a close call and a focus. This is fine. Thanks, clowns everywhere. Alright, sprint, rolling 2 dice. Let's see if I can move. Ooh, that's not a great preposition. So I would like to do 1, 2, 3. So I need to move 3. So I do need to use my reroll. But I unfortunately have 2 cards. Well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to use my close call on this 1. So I'm keeping that. I'm rerolling this 1. Yeah, I can't do anything with that because all I got is a focus. Alright, I got 1 success on a sprint, which means that I lose 1 time. So from 6 to 5. And I can move 2 spaces. Unfortunate. I could just go and start searching for stuff. I mean, I guess I kind of gotta. Like, I kind of have to go and start searching for stuff. It's very unfortunate that all that happened the way it did. And also the people dispersed in a very unfortunate way. Also the fact that the traps showed up here, like, ugh. Oh, just in case you're wondering, Sacred Groves is first in the places I would never recommend people play on. As designed, Carnival of Blood is a very close second because of the traps. And the item traps too, which disincentivize you from searching, but... Huh. Alright, where am I going to move? 1, 2... I don't want to be in spaces with people, but I guess it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, things are already gone to heck, so... 1, 2... I'm going to leave these people back here. Worst case scenario, they're trapped forever, and they can't go anywhere. It's the worst case scenario for that one. So yeah, we'll commit to that. Although alternatively, I could just run to this item spot and start searching. See, I'm kind of torn because... Okay, you know what? I'll do this. I'll stay here with these peoples. And the reason being... Because if I had 3, it would be 1, 2, 3. I wouldn't be far enough. Okay, I wouldn't be able to do that anyway. But the reason why I want to stay here is because I can search this spot. So if I get a search, I can maybe find Carolyn and run out and get out of the game. Or get out of here and win the game. But I don't know if Carolyn's in that first spot. Also, there's traps. I forgot about traps. Item traps. And just to clarify, because I always like to qualify the anguish that I might be expressing. This anguish is not from a perspective of, oh my gosh, this game is so good at building atmosphere. It's more of a, this game is so frustrating. Frustrating from a perspective of literally on turn 1 of the ghost doing anything. Bloodlust is at 7. I mean, I feel like as a design element, that's a bad idea. I feel like it should be capped. I feel like it should not trigger that way, but it just cascaded that way. Because of the combination of did you follow me here plus clowns everywhere, which just didn't really work out. Yes, I got Asami, who's one of the better searchers in this game, but still. Also, if I had held on to that previous focus that I played to reduce the horror by 1, I could have technically gotten my sprint to 3. But also consider, if you hear me out, consider that the horror level is at 6 right now. It would have been at 7 if I hadn't played the last focus. So I would have needed to do both. I just needed an extra card, which there was no way for me to get an extra card. Yeah, I'm going to commit to that. I'm going to hold on to this focus because I'll probably need it in a second. But I'm going to end my turn there. I have 5 time. I'm going to get all these zeros back. So I have this in my hand. I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. So I got 6 cards in my hand. I got 5 time to spend. I am going to buy a guard, a search, and a close call. Because I got enough move. Oh, should I get a sprint? Nah. Because I got enough movement to do 1, 2, 3. So I just need to get 1 double success on the walk. But hopefully I can find Carolyn. Because if I can find Carolyn, then everybody else is irrelevant. I found what I need to find. We'll see. This is very risky. High risk here. High risk, high reward. We'll see if it pays off. Alright, all done with that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards in my hand. We're good. And, excuse me. Now that's done, the ghost is going to activate. The ghost is going to move to the nearest final girl or victims and slash them, moving at a speed of 3. They're going to go for the biggest group of peoples, which is that one, and then take out a person. And congratulations, the ghost is now moving for 4 and swinging for 3. So the ghost can effectively get to any space that they want. And any further increase in the Bloodlust track will deal 1 damage to me, 1 combat damage, which I can block if I want to, and discard a tarot card from the deck. So speaking of tarot cards. Oh, no. I swear this game. So lightning strikes the space that I'm at, and then 1 victim in each space. One victim in each. Oh, sorry. 1 victim in each space is killed, and you lose health equal to the Poltergeist's current attack value. Alright, so 2 people die, which we'll do that first. That will kill 2 cards from the terror deck. So 2 cards burned from that. And then I will take 2 damage from that. So I'm down to 1. And then I'm going to take the ghost's damage as health removal, which means I cannot block it. I could have blocked the other one, but I had 3 health anyway. It didn't matter if I blocked it or not. So I'm going to lose all of my health. So I'm going to be dead. And now we do the parts of the game that I like to call, will I be able to continue playing the game? Or is it gonna be the end of it? So will I come back? Looks like no, I do not come back. I am now officially the no longer final girl. Because yeah, I've been slain. That's it. Final girl is no more. So yeah, so that's depressing, yes, but that's also one of the reasons why the mechanics in motion just kind of lead to some very not so well synergizing situations. I mean, it synergizes well for the game. Like if you're playing as the killer or if you're playing as the ghost, like yeah, you had a fantastic, like that was a great combination, like between ghosts or clowns everywhere and did you follow me here? Like those 2 things synergize so well. Like the fact that the ghost started here, the ghost moved here, murdered somebody, which forced a panic phase, and then everybody panicked, and then everybody panicked again because the clowns everywhere, and then my sister happened to walk back in there. Like even if we reduce this by 3, I think I'm still dead in that scenario. Or sorry, well not dead, but I think I'm still in trouble, I should say, in that scenario. But yeah, but those things kind of combined in a very aggressive way. And then also spinning blades showing up here was not convenient, especially since it already knocked me down 2 health. Yeah, there's a lot to disparage about this particular synergy that came up. And I do want to highlight that it's not always like this, but it is very frequently like this, which is one of the things that like kind of makes this game hard to recommend. At least in its current iteration, specifically these locations of Sacred Groves and Carnival of Blood. Sacred Groves has this a little bit more aggressively. I started thinking more about Sacred Groves because I want to do the Inkenyama playthrough just because it sounds terrible, so why not? But Carnival of Blood I have not much interest in going through. I feel like I've played it enough to kind of know that its events and its cards are just a little aggressive. Oh, this is the Poltergeist. Well, there you go. That's the Poltergeist. But to be fair, yeah, the spinning blades, that one kind of came up in a very awkward time, which was just a minor inconvenience. The real killer for me was the fact that the ghost can move for 2. And you have the combination of my sisters here and then clowns everywhere. That was the real killer. That was a real killer situation. Because the fact that the ghost could move for 2, started here, walked into the space, killed 1 person. We had a panic phase, and then during upkeep, everybody panicked again. And it's like, so frustrating. That's just like such a awful interaction. And also, I do want to highlight that these events started here not because of some random act of goodness or anything, but mainly because the scenario book specifically calls for this. To which this is one of the arguments that the designers made, which is they see that the lore and scenario book, which is what I'm playing through currently, they see this as one of the harder ways to play this game, the hardest way to play this game, the most challenging way to play this game. I still disagree strongly, even though this cluster crap of a situation. I still disagree strongly because when you play through the lore and scenario book, the lore and scenario book gives you a heads up. Like, I know that this card's in here. I know that all 3 traps are in here, so I'm going to try to play accordingly, which I did. My very first turn, I did not want to end my turn in a space with people, just in case one of the traps came out, because I know there's a 3 in 10 chance that the trap comes out turn 1, and lo and behold, my prayers were answered. The first card that came out, well, Where's Carolyn came out first, so there's a, technically, in that situation, there was a 3 in 9 chance, so 1/3 chance that a trap card was going to show up, which it did. And then when it did, yeah, it was inconvenient, it was bad, but I was able to plan for that. That was something I can say, okay, knowing what I know about this game and this level and what's in that deck, I know that I need to not be in places with people because there's 3 traps. I'm going to be cautious of traps. So I was able to move away from that. And then I had a scenario to where I'm here and I'm hanging out with people. I'm going to do some searching. I'm going to start searching the deck, searching the items, and maybe find Carolyn. Let's see. If I had succeeded in my search, would I have found Carolyn turn 1? Nope. I'd found Zappo. So Carolyn was not in the Forest of Horrors, at least on the first search. I would have to wait a whole another turn before I could search again, to which, oh yeah, there she is. Nice. So she was here. She was just 3rd from the top, and then Knockout Gas was at the bottom. I think I would have searched once, and then I would try to focus on getting the rest of the people out so I can get my ability. And then I can ignore traps. And then I might have come back down here and search again. I don't know. We don't know because that's not the universe we live in. We live in a different universe. But all that's said and done, we're in a situation to where just turn 1 of the ghosts was so potent that it became very apparent that this is not a winning combination of things. Between how people panicked, between how the cards came out, between the events and how they triggered and how they synergized with each other, it just didn't work out. And some people say, oh, well, it's just telling a cool story and it's just going along with it and it's just everything fun. It's like, okay, I hear you on the, it's telling a cool story, but I would like to actually play the game. As in, the most I got to play the game was I'm going to walk here and rescue 2 people, which I did. And I had some really cool decisions of, do I reduce the horror by 2? Do I move 1 space? Do I go ahead and get the search card and try to be greedy? Maybe I could have said, you know what, hey, let me hedge my bets. Instead of rescuing those 2 people that I did, let me try to run over here and be greedy and rescue everybody. Now, knowing I can only carry 2 people, I probably would not have done that, strategically speaking. But there's an incentive for me to try to move around. And then also, to some degree, there's a benefit of me not ending my turn here, because if I did, then spinning traps is here instead. And if spinning traps is here, that means I can take no victims there, which is even worse. This is still bad, don't get me wrong, but it's a little bit less bad than my exit being covered. So that's kind of like the whole synergy of things, and it's so frustrating because it's like, as a location, I love the idea. As a place, as a theme, it's really cool and it's nice and it does tell a cool story. But once again, if I'm playing a 0-player game, sure, but I'm trying to play a 1-player game here. Please allow me to play a little bit. If there's some way of I can do some dice mitigation, and granted, this is a solo player game, you can modify it, you can just ignore dice rolls, you can reflip cards, you can change up all the things you want. It's literally a 1-player game. Nobody's really forcing you to play it by exactly the rules, and that's a very strong, compelling argument that fans of the game can make. Designers of the game, though, however, I do not think that that's a valid excuse for designers of the game. And what I'm saying is that in the forums, somebody posted a quote allegedly from one of the designers. I say allegedly because I never found out myself if it was true or not. But the quote was, sometimes bad things happen in the game, and this game is not going to be fair to you, and it's going to be sometimes it's going to be brutal and aggressive and all this other stuff. And it's like, okay, if the designers really did say that, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's assume the designer didn't actually say that. I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they didn't say that, because saying that is very silly. What I mean by that is shorthand for, we didn't balance this game, but we want you to buy it. To which I reply, why did you not balance this game? And what are you going to do to try to improve it? If you release an errata, if you give a new card or say, hey, you can purchase for bonus 1 time for every damage you take or something, if you come out with something like that to modify the game and make it a little bit less aggressive on scenarios like Carnival of Blood or Sacred Groves, then sure, you're doing your thing, and you can have your cake and eat it too. You can say, yeah, the game's sometimes unfair, but here's some tools that we've given you to try to overcome that. My argument has always been and will always be, I don't think that this game gives you nearly enough tools to be able to handle situations like that. And once again, some people say, well, you're not supposed to handle situations like that. To which I would say, okay, why bother playing it? You know, like, do you see the escalation in this? Do you see the part where it's kind of getting worse and worse for me recommending this to people to buy? Once again, I'm not saying that like my word is final here or anything, but I'm just saying, statistically speaking, the statistics tell me I take 2 actions, that's it. If I take anything more than that, it's risky. So I figured that part out. So that's a puzzle that I figured out. Ever since I've been playing with that particular mindset, it's been a lot less aggressive on the dice or just being awful. But then you have this source of random, which is literally, I can't do anything about that. All I can do is just roll the dice or flip the cards. You can make arguments that I shouldn't flip cards, I should roll dice instead. But even if I roll dice, the ghost went up 7, literally 7 on their first killing phase. Like, what am I supposed to do about that? What am I supposed to do about that? Anyway, okay, enough of me ranting about that. I did commit to try to keep my post-game analysis to within 15 minutes. I'm assuming I'm within that time range. But at any rate, yeah, that's going to be it for this particular video. So I will be doing the next playthrough probably soon. And when I say probably soon, I'm not doing it right now, but I will be doing that shortly. But especially if you're watching this on YouTube, it will probably be up by the time you see this video anyway. So go ahead and watch out the next video. Check it out. Let me know what you think of it. And yeah, that's it. So thank you all very much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed it. And as always, I will see you all whenever.